wonderful people out there. I'm going to do a lesson today on expressions and evaluating expressions. I'm going to do 4 quick examples, and hopefully you're going to learn a few things along the way. So before I get started, I want to talk about a sport that maybe you know about and maybe you don't. It's called cricket. All right. Now, cricket's a game that's pretty widely played over in Europe and parts of Asia and South Africa as well. Not South Africa, Africa as well. So it's not so wide in North America, but that's fine. So here's how it works. If you get a run, runs are worth 1 point. So I put a little 1 up above the R. G stands for hitting a ball to the boundary on the ground. You get 4 points for that. And if you hit a ball over the boundary in the air, which is why it says A, you get 6 points. So I have some variables. My variables are R, G, and A. And the reason why they're variable is because you can see in this first match, I had 55 runs, 30 ground boundaries, and 22 air boundaries. All right, so I hit 55 of them and ran for 55 runs. I hit 30 into the boundary, so I got 4 points for each of them. And then I got 6 points for 22 boundaries, or I got 22 boundary shots, and each one was worth 6 points. So what does this look like? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to use Microsoft Sheets, Google Sheets rather, Google Sheets, it's Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, to write an expression. So here's what I'm going to do. My expression would look like this. It would look like 1 times R, because I get 1 point for each run, plus 4 times the G, because it's the number of ground boundaries, plus 6 times the A. And the reason why is because 1, 4, and 6 are the coefficients of my variables. So I have 1, 4, and 6. It's because runs are always 1 point, ground boundaries are always 4 points, and the hitting it over the boundary in the air is always 6 points. So now what does this look like here? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say equals. I'm going to write a formula. I'm going to say equals. And watch what I do. When I press equals, up here on this little, it says f of x. Up here, a little equals, little equals pops up. Oh, it's now saying, darn you. Now it's not saying anything. So what's going to happen is this. Oh, there we go. I'm going to press equals again. And I'm going to say 1 times. And I'm going to say this cell, which is, this cell is B3. 1 times B3, because that's the number of runs, plus 4 times. Now, I want my G. Well, for this column now, it's going to be C3. So I can just click on C3. New. 4 times C3 plus 6 times, and now I want D3, which is going to be 22 in this case. And what happens is I get 307. And so if you actually check this out on your calculator, it would work. Now here's the cool thing about Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel for that matter. If I go and put my little cursor in the corner and drag it down, it will expand my formula. If you look at my formula bar up here, you can see it's 1 times B3 plus 4 times C3 plus 6 times D3. The next line is B4, C4, D4, and then B5, C5, D5. So that's how that works. My constant isn't actually, there are no constants in this, in the way that we're going to be talking about. So our expression was 1 times R plus 4 times G plus 6 times A. Now I'm going to move on to my next example. What if we had coins? All right. Well, quarters are worth 25 cents. Dimes are always worth 10 cents. Nickels are worth 5 cents always, and pennies are worth 1 cent. So those are going to, so our variables are going to be how many quarters do we have? How many dimes do we have? How many nickels do we have? How many pennies do we have? Those will all change. Those values can always change. What doesn't change is the value of the coins, all right? Quarters are always worth 25 cents. So if I had 1 quarter, I'd have 25 cents. If I had 2 quarters, I'd have 50 cents because 2 times 25 is 50. Dimes are always worth 10 cents, nickels are always worth 5 cents, and pennies are always worth 1 cent. So if I wanted to find the value of this, my expression would be 25 times Q plus 10 times D plus 5 times N plus 1 times P. And you might be asking yourself, that's strange. I wonder if we actually need to put in the 1 times P, because doesn't that seem a little bit strange, putting in 1 times P? I don't know. I'll let you think about that. Anyway, so here I'm going to write in my expression, which, well, actually, you know what? I'm not going to write in my expression. I'm just going to copy it. And now I'm going to paste a little Control-C, a little Control-V, and we'll paste it in the right spot. And now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to write my my expression in Excel. So it's going to be equals 25 times this cell plus 10 times this cell plus 5 times this cell plus 1 times this cell. And now that I've written that, it's done it for me. It actually even says suggest autofill. I'm going to say no, simply because I want to show you how to do it. So you'll see what I did was I entered 1000 to just make sure that this works. Yeah, I get 25 cents. This one should give me 10 cents. So I'm going to click on the cell, put it in the bottom, and drag it down. Oh, look at that. 25 cents, 10 cents, 5 cents, 1 cent. Now, there is a problem with this. Let's say I had 6 quarters, 5 dimes, 4 nickels, and 3 pennies. Now it says I have 223. What that really means is 223 cents. If I want to make this into dollars, I have to remember that cents is out of 100. So what I can do is to modify my formula, I'm going to put parentheses around the entire expression, and I'm not going to multiply by 100. I'm actually going to divide by 100. And when I do that, it changes it into dollars. All right. So now, dun, 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 you can see a nickel, 1 nickel is worth 5 cents. 1 penny is worth 1 cent. And this gives me $2.23. Now you can put in any values you want. If I had 12 quarters, that's a variable. The number of quarters is the variable. If I had 3 dimes, 3 nickels, and 176 pennies, I have $5.21. All right, moving along, we're going to do 2 more grocery store. Let's say I go to the grocery store. You might say, oh, this is great, but it's not really all that useful. Well, check this out. If I go to the grocery store and apples cost $3.95 a pound and bananas $1.50 a pound, well, I'm talking about 2 things. I'm talking about apples and bananas. Now, my coefficient is how much does it cost always? It's always $3.95 for 1 pound of apples. And then I can say, well, this is always $1.50 for 1 pound of bananas. Once again, I don't have a constant here per se, because when we talk about constants, you might say, well, aren't coefficients constants? They are. So I'm not going to pretend that that fact doesn't exist, because it most certainly does. Oh, here we go. Merge horizontally. All right, so now I need to write my expression. Well, you may have guessed it. I'm going to take my coefficient, 395, times the amount of apples I'm getting. 395 times the amount of apples I'm buying, plus $1.50 times the number of times the pounds of bananas I'm buying. So that's my expression. And so now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it over here, and now I'm going to write my formula to figure out how much it costs to buy some apples and bananas. All right, so let's see what I can do here. So I'm going to say equals 395 times the number of bananas plus $1.50 times, I'm sorry, those were apples, times the number of bananas. And I get 0. And once again, it says autofill. I'm going to say no, just so I can show you this. And here we go. I'm going to drag it down, and we get this. Now, let's say I only had $10 to spend, all right? I'm going to write a new formula down here, but I'm going to put in a constant. Well, let's say I had $15 to spend. I have $15 to spend, all right? If I want to know if I have enough money, I can say equals 15 minus, and then I'm going to put in my expression again, which was 3.95 times this cell plus $1.50 times, oh goodness me, I picked the wrong cell over here. That's all right. I picked D9. I should have picked D10. Plus that. Now, let's see what happens. Right now it says I have $15 because I didn't buy anything. But if I buy something, 1 pound of that and 1 pound of that, I have $9.55. Let's see. What would happen? Let's say I want to see if I can buy 5 pounds of both. All right. Maybe I'm looking to get lots of fruit. Let's see what happens if I buy 5 pounds of both. I don't have enough. All right. So 5 pounds will put me under. If I had 3 pounds of both, even 3 pounds is too much. I can buy 3 pounds of apples and 2 pounds of bananas and have 15 cents. If I go the other way, I have $2.60 left. All right. So that's how that works. Now I'm going to show you one last example. If I'm playing a video game, there's a game called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and I'm afraid I'm running long, but let's see. Yes, this is very long. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You get 1,000 points to start. Every time you get a body blow, it's 100 points. Every time you use a super punch, it's 150 points. So my constant is 1,000 points. My variables are my body blows and my super punches. Now this is going to be 150 points, and this is that's going to be 100 points, and this is 150 points. So let's see what happens. I'm going to say my expression is going to be 1,000 points minus 1,000 points minus 100B for my body blows and 150S. Now you might be saying, how come it's not 100B minus 150S? The reason why is because I'm adding these two up and then I'm subtracting the total from 1,000. So my expression is going to be here. And let's see what happens. I'm going to say 1,000 minus, oh, I didn't press equals, sorry. If your formula never doesn't work, it's because you might not have pressed equals. 100 this plus 150, oh goodness me, what's happened here? 100 times this cell plus 150 times this cell. And so if you get 0 body blows and 0 super punches, your opponent still has 1,000 hits, points. But if we drag this down, we can see, oh my goodness, I wonder how many body blows do I need to knock him down? Only body blows. Well, let's see, 7 gives me 300, 8, 200. Oh, it looks like it's probably 10. So if I use only body blows, I can knock him down in 10 shots. What if I only use super punches? If I use 6, he still has 100 health life. But if I use 7, he's down to negative 50. So I'd have to use 7. And if I use 5 and 5, I wonder what would happen if I use 5 and 5. If I use 5 and 5, I'll knock him out. All right, that's it. I'm sorry this went so long. I hope you watched it and enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye-bye.